Hi, I'm Dr. Jo'Anne Langham, and today I'm going to talk to you about using and writing scenarios. Scenarios are a story about the actions of a user. It is often written in second person and describes the key elements of the steps that a user takes, the outcome of the task, and any contextual factors or issues. Scenarios are essentially stories that describe specific activities within an environment. The narrative, presented in an essence as a day in the life of, helps user interface designers, development team members, and users envision how a system will support work on other activities in the future. Scenarios are an essential element in the approach to human-centered design and usability engineering. Most practitioners use scenarios as a brief view of the interaction between people, technology, products, and services. Scenarios serve as the glue. They help developers and designers visualize the system as it will be used by a specific user group in a particular context. That is, scenarios help designers and developers get into the user's shoes. The benefits of using scenarios in this way include exploring an application within the context of its use, helping users and developers identify potential usability issues, enabling users to envision how a new application or potential design will function within the work context, enabling designers to envision the user or customer experience by designing that experience through a scenario, providing a non-technical way for users to understand the design. Writing a scenario helps designers think through the learning gained through user research. Scenarios provide constraints and focus for the development of prototypes and prevent the feature creep so typical of software products. Finally, they serve as the basis for simulated use of the system by users during usability testing. This allows users to review the system from the perspective of the work environment. By focusing on the activity rather than the interaction, scenarios focus on the user or the customer experience. The story can aim to deliver a specific emotion, such as pleasure, surprise, or respect, or the experience itself, such as the novice feels like an expert, the customer feels that their time is well spent. Using the scenario as part of the design activity allows the design team to focus on that experience and what will be required to create it. Scenarios should be written to blend together usability goals, critical features, and human activity. The designer will then have a tool to guide a rapid and focused human-centered design process. There are many types of scenarios. However, here are 3 common scenarios that I tend to use. Firstly, activity scenarios. Activity scenarios are written as an outcome of user research and as a precursor to design. They focus exclusively on the workflow, activities, and/or experience. Ideally, no mention of the technology is made in activity scenarios. These scenarios inform the design. Interaction scenarios describe a proposed interaction between a user and a system, and are usually written after the design is quite substantial. The illustrated scenario is simply an expanded version of a prose scenario that show pictures of the environment, the users, and proposed interactions with products. At each event in the scenario, as it unfolds, the illustrations show the changes that happen with the user. Scenarios can often be used also to envision future activities in interactions as a means of communicating a concept to an audience, along with its potential features and capabilities. An activity or an interaction scenario can describe either the present or future work situation. In the case of envisioning the future, a scenario may be used to help define an application, a service, or a product and identify potential functionality.